Movie sequels. You sometimes love them, you sometimes hate them. Many fans of beloved film classics hate the idea of a continuation of the story, as they believe that the initial story has done the premise to the best of its ability. While there's also a subset of film fans that welcome and encourage the idea of a sequel, continuing the events of the first in a way that expands upon and adds to the first's value. Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2 is a sequel that has gotten much attention over the last few years. With plans initially beginning for the follow-up dating back as far as 2001, the sequel's development has been a long and storied process that film fans such as I have followed for years. The fact that it's finally here and releasing in theaters this weekend is somewhat hard to believe. So, how is the final product? Does Ridley Scott manage to add to the story of the first in a way that feels grounded and essential? Does the film manage to hold a candle to the first in terms of cinematic quality and merit? The answer to both of these questions is no, but Gladiator 2 is not a bad movie by any means. Gladiator 2 follows the story of Lucius, the nephew of Maximus, as his home is captured by the emperors of Rome. Forced to fight in the arena to gain his freedom, he seeks to earn his independence, satisfy his vengeance, and free his home at any cost necessary. Now, if this sounds like a repeat of the first film's plot, it essentially is. Granted, new performances, action set pieces, and characters make this feel new on the surface, but in terms of substantial plot development, there's little to be found here. While this might be seen as a negative quality by some, I'd wager that fans of the first film will therefore find a lot to appreciate about this installment, since it's quite similar to the first film in many regards. As was the case with the first film, the grounded revenge tale that makes up the bulk of the film's plot is the most interesting aspect of the film. As we watch Lucius work his way up and get closer towards his goals, we as audiences can't help but cheer for him and root for him, just as the audiences in the Colosseum are cheering for the gladiators in the arena. Speaking of the arena, as was the case with the first film, Ridley Scott directs the action sequences within the gladiator pit with such a kinetic and energetic touch. We as audiences feel directly placed into the middle of the action, especially in a premium format like IMAX, and this is helped by Scott's careful choice of POV shots to place viewers inside the action. The action scenes might get progressively dumber as the film goes on, and trust me, they do, but the energy remains consistent throughout, which is commendable. Paul Mescal's performance as Lucius is finely tuned for what the film calls for, even if he feels somewhat muted and subdued here. He cannot hold a candle to Russell Crowe's portrayal of Maximus in the first, even if he tried, and as a result, he doesn't have the proper wow factor to capture audience's attention like Crowe did in the first. He's well cast for what the performance is, but he is largely overshadowed by both Denzel Washington and Pedro Pascal, who deliver great performances with what they're given. Denzel in particular is a force of nature here. He commands every single scene with ease, instilling a sense of charisma yet a sinister undertone in every interaction. Joseph Quinn delivers a performance as the antagonist that feels purposely over the top in terms of dramatic capability, which works well for the film's atmosphere as a whole. Connie Nelson reprises her role from the first film, delivering a deeply empathetic and soulful performance that can't help but feel stagnant considering the script she's given, and also since it's essentially a reprise of her character from the first. Even outside of Nielsen's performance, the film's main problem is that it just feels uninspired. It's a classic revenge tale just like the first, but it also follows most of the same plot beats from the first and never keeps the audience guessing. It's a movie that telegraphs all of its surprises ahead of time and never lets the audience feel a genuine moment of shock or surprise. Granted, Gladiator 2 is far from a bad movie. It's quite entertaining, in fact. The action is loud and well directed, the plotline is engaging and consistent, and even the performances are fine for what they are. The script, however, drags down the end result considerably, and overall it's a film that feels more like a remake of the first more than it does a standalone entry with something new to offer. This begs the question, should you go see Gladiator 2 this weekend? I'd say it's worth it overall. For those looking for a big budget action flick like the ones from the early 2000s, this will certainly satisfy. For those looking for something new to ponder or reflect upon from this entry, it unfortunately will not do the trick. It's definitely the best film Ridley Scott has done in a while, but that's a surprisingly low bar to pass considering his recent output. That's why I'm giving Gladiator 2 a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this review on my channel. If you're new around here and you like the content you see, don't forget to click that subscribe button down below, like the video, and turn on push notifications. Also, leave comment suggestions down below for future video, essay, and review topics. With that being said, until next time, this is Mitchell signing off. Peace out.